Joaquin Buckley versus Alessio Di Chirico. We got minus 270 on Joaquin Buckley and plus 230 on Alessio Di Chirico. Let's start off with the sensation, Mr. Joaquin Buckley, who's coming off a victory over Jordan Wright, but that was right after he pretty much just blew up on the map after that crazy KO that he had over Impa Kasanganay, where he just landed a beautiful spinning back kick after Kasanganay caught his foot, and it blew the whole world on fire. Like, even when you're getting guys like Kanye West tweeting out or Instagramming out videos of your knockout, you know you've absolutely made it. And I'm sure, you know, his social media accounts have definitely seen it, and even the way that the UFC is pushing him, they've definitely seen it. Like, just for example, right before the Jordan Wright fight is about to start, like, I'm talking about after the fighter introductions, like after Bruce Buffer calls both of them out, they quickly show a replay of his knockout of Impa Kasanganay, and then it fades out into them starting the fight, which is absolutely crazy. Like, if I'm Jordan Wright and I'm standing there staring across from freaking Joaquin Buckley, and I see on the screens that they're playing the replay of that knockout that he had in his last fight, I'm like, what the fuck, guys? I'm about to go fight this guy, and you want to show me that? You know, maybe if you're a positive or a glass half full type of athlete and you're the one in the cage there with Buckley, you're just like, you know what, I'm going to use that as motivation. I want to go and take this guy's shine. And unfortunately for Jordan Wright, he was not able to do so that night. And I was one of the suckers that did take Jordan Wright around that plus 200 range, as I felt like the hype job of Joaquin Buckley is in. I still believe the hype job is there, hence why they're feeding him a guy that's 0-3 in his last 3 fights. More often than not, UFC goes out there and cuts guys like these. However, they see an opportunity where they can continue to cash in on this Joaquin Buckley thing. However, I don't think it's going to cash in for them in the manner that they're expecting, which is a highlight reel knockout. We're talking about Alessio Di Chirico, who hasn't been knocked out to this point in his, however, 17 MMA fights that he's had, never been knocked out in his career. Now, he did get dropped in his last fight against Zach Cummings in the last second of the fight, which possibly could have led to his first ever knockout loss if that fight maybe went 5 or 10 seconds more, maybe even 5 seconds. If he gave that 5 more seconds, Zach Cummings would have rushed him, and the referee definitely would have stopped that. That was a buzzer beater of a knockout. But even then, he wasn't like completely out. Like, he got hurt, but he was pretty much right back to his feet, and obviously he was stumbling all over the place, but he's never really been put cold out. However, the one thing I don't really like about Di Chirico's game is his ability to continuously march or give up his back foot. Like, he's always the one on his back foot more often than not. In the Mahmoud Muradov fight, there were a couple times where he was the one moving forward, but that was more so Muradov just kind of playing into that counter-striking game. Now, Di Chirico, on the other hand, he doesn't do as well in that. Like, he has a nasty body kick from his southpaw position whenever he's in that position or in that stance. But outside of that, like, you know, it has a couple combinations here and there, kind of low output. Like, if you're losing a striking battle to Zach Cummings, it's probably not the best way to go. Like, Zach Cummings, most of his victories have come via submission, and not often does he go, well, he does have a couple knockouts on his record as well, but in terms of like going out there and having a stand-up fight for 15 minutes, that should have been Di Chirico's fight. Unfortunately for him, he comes out on the losing end there, and that was the second or his third straight loss in a row. Now, they do share a similar loss to Kevin Holland. Obviously, Joaquin Buckley got knocked out by him. Kevin Holland went to a decision with Di Chirico. So I think how this fight will probably play out is Joaquin Buckley pretty much just setting the pace of this fight, moving forward the entire time, throwing his bombs, kind of like the Kevin Holland fight. However, I expect him to hit more, be more successful with the shots, and not have as much success on the back foot like Kevin Holland did as Di Chirico is going to have in this fight. So I do like Joaquin Buckley to win this fight. I do think that he gets it done. I think he wins a decision, which is why I think the last time I looked at it was plus 250 or plus 275 for Joaquin Buckley to win this fight via decision. And I kind of think that's the way that I'm going to be going here. I'm not 100% sure if I'll make it an official bet or anything like that, but I do think it's a solid parlay piece. If you guys are looking to put in Buckley into parlays, I don't mind that at this point in time. I'm still calling his bluff in terms of thinking that he is a bit of a height job, but you can't, discredit some of the victories that he's had recently. So I will give him some credit. I do think he's a talented guy. He's 26 years old, so he's definitely growing. He could be adding more things to his arsenal, but I think this is a perfectly made fight for him to go out there and possibly get a knockout. I don't see it happen. Historically, we just haven't seen Di Chirico get knocked out. We've seen him go out there and fight big punchers like Oluwale Bamboshe, a Julian Marquez, even Joaquin Buckley is definitely up there too. But we'll see if Buckley's able to find that chin and get him out of there. The one thing that does concern me about Di Chirico, though, however, is if he decides to change it up. Like if he goes for a takedown, I feel like he could be successful with a takedown. However, in fights that he has gone for takedowns, he hasn't really been most successful in keeping these guys down. And that's where I think the issue is. I think Buckley's quite good at getting back to his feet and then re-establishing his game, which is moving forward the entire time, throwing big, heavy shots, and keeping Di Chirico on the back foot. So that's where I think that Buckley wins this fight. Minus 270. A little bit chalky. I completely understand that. But I think the angle here could potentially be Joaquin Buckley to win this fight via decision. And that's probably the way that I'm going to be going. So I'll go Joaquin Buckley to win this fight via decision and continue this 3-fight winning streak that he's on. Unfortunately for the UFC and the hype machine that they're trying to build around this guy, I don't think that they're going to get that highlight reel knockout that they're looking for to continuously build and bring this guy up the ranks and try to get the popularity behind him a little bit more. But yeah, I will be going with Joaquin Buckley to win this fight via decision.